Everyone's favorite blue hedgehog isn't a big fan of doing things all alone. He's usually surrounded by other crazy, colorful creatures. With that in mind, if you saw Sonic the Hedgehog, you're probably wondering why none of Sonic's famous friends earned starring roles in the film. It turns out there's a good reason for this, and fans will be happy to know it has to do with Paramount trying to stay true to the video games. Plus, they made sure to include a surprise appearance during the credits to give us all a little taste of what's to come. So, when can we expect to see Sonic's friends star in the movie? And which Sonic characters are worth the crossover? We've gathered up all the film's hints and references to see who's most likely to make their big screen debut in the Sonic sequel. The live-action movie follows Sonic as he crosses over into our universe and teams up with Sheriff Wachowski, played by James Marsden, to evade and take on Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik. While the friendship between the Sheriff and Sonic is excellent, the human cop is pretty different from Sonic's most iconic sidekick. But thankfully, fans who stuck around past the 16-bit credit sequence were lucky enough to catch a glimpse of Sonic's preferred pal. If you haven't seen the film yet, there are some spoilers ahead. After Dr. Robotnik and Sonic finish their chase sequence, a fluffy fox-like creature arrives on Earth using one of Sonic's signature rings. The fox is none other than Tails, a classic Sonic character who first made his appearance in the second Sonic video game. Tails is armed with a tracking device that seems to pinpoint Sonic's location. Tails then flies off towards Green Hill with an important message for the blue blur. The moment perfectly sets up the sequel that may involve the Chaos Emeralds. That's likely what Tails is tracking, and earlier in the film, we were treated to a sneaky little drawing of Chaos Emeralds on Sonic's map. The Chaos Emeralds are required for the Blue Devil to go supersonic, which explains why he never made the much anticipated transformation during the film. So what roles could Tails and Sonic's other friends take on in the Sonic sequel? And why did the writers decide to keep them all for the second movie? Let's discuss. Tails' real name is actually Miles Prower, and yes, that is a play on words for miles per hour. He's an anthropomorphic fox cub with two tails, and he's also Sonic's best friend and #1 sidekick. They're like Batman and Robin, or Shrek and Donkey. They're often seen together in the Sonic franchise, but Tails didn't make his official Sonic debut until Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So Paramount seems to be taking a hint from the video games by waiting to make Tails a part of the second movie. Tails is best known for, you guessed it, his tricky tails which spin like helicopter blades and allow him to fly at pretty high speeds. He's also just as fast as Sonic and can keep up with the blue blur at an astonishing speed of 768 miles per hour. And that's just the average. He's very skilled with mechanics and has made signature tools like his magic hook and energy ball, which appear in the game's Sonic Battle. But abilities aside, Tails is a great friend to Sonic and greatly admires the Hedgehog. He learned to run fast because of Sonic, and the confident blue creature has taught him a lot about courage and bravery. You could say that Sonic is kind of Tails' mentor. But of course, Tails has his weaknesses, and we could see these playing a big part in the Sonic sequel. For one, Tails is afraid of lightning. He can also be absent-minded and a bit of a big mouth. For example, in Sonic Adventure 2, he accidentally tells Dr. Robotnik that the Chaos Emerald Sonic has is a fake. We could definitely see one of Tails' signature slip-ups causing some problems for the Hedgehog hero in a sequel. Thankfully, we know that the Fox Cub is just as capable of helping as he is of messing things up. So we're predicting a rocky origin story about our blue and orange friends and how they ultimately find the emeralds and save the day. When Tails makes his official appearance in the Sonic sequel, who will Paramount get to voice him? Colleen O'Shaughnessy, the original voice actor for Tails in the video games, reprised her role in the brief mid-credit scene. But if Sonic's sequel is officially greenlit, the voice actor will probably be recast. They did it for Sonic, casting Ben Schwartz over video game voice actor Roger Craig Smith. While we love Colleen in the role, the studio will likely want to age up Tails and make him a teenager like Sonic. So Tails will need a voice actor who can nail that teenage voice. We could see Alison Brie as Tails, since she's shown off her voice skills playing various characters on BoJack Horseman. Another option for the role could be Kristen Schaal, who lends her unique voice to Gravity Falls as Mabel Pines and to Bob's Burger as Louise Belcher. But who would you like to see voicing the Fast Fox? Let us know in the comments. Of course, a Sonic sequel wouldn't be complete if it only featured Sonic's friends. There needs to be an iconic villain like Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik to challenge Sonic and Tails. And while Robotnik did hint at a return near the end of the film by saying he'd be back by Christmas, the film is going to need a new villain to keep things fresh. And there's no better option than Knuckles. Knuckles is a red anthropomorphic echidna and the guardian of the Master Emerald, which would make him the perfect addition to a story surrounding the Chaos Emeralds. He is the last remaining descendant of the Knuckles clan and the last of the echidna on Earth. He's best known for the two spike-like knuckles on each of his hands, which allow him to dig and climb walls. And of course, he can fly. He uses his awesome dreadlocks to trap wind and glide through the air. Now, we know that Knuckles isn't a straightforward villain. He was introduced to the series as an antagonist, but he eventually develops a kind of friendship with Sonic. though he does still see the Hedgehog as a rival. Dr. Robotnik was actually the one responsible for their initial feud, as it's revealed in the games that he engineered the whole thing to get the echidna on his side. We could definitely see Robotnik and Knuckles becoming a team in the sequel to take on Sonic and Tails. There are a few more ways that Knuckles could fit into the next Sonic movie. For one, he has a pretty big temper and envies Sonic at points in the video games, so seeing how he and the Blue Blur start off as enemies and develop a fragile friendship would be an interesting plot to explore. Plus, Knuckles is not only the protector of the Master Emerald, he's also able to use the Chaos Emeralds as a power-up. With 7 of the powerful jewels, he can achieve his own version of the supersonic state, fittingly called Super Knuckles. We're sure we can expect some crazy power-ups in the sequel if the Chaos Emeralds play a major role. And with Knuckles also able to keep up with Sonic and Tails' speed, the new film will probably be even more fast-paced than the first one. So will Knuckles be a definitive addition to the Sonic film universe? It's debatable because Knuckles only made his debut in the 3rd Sonic video game, and the film may want to delay his appearance even more, just like they did with Tails. But the Sonic movie did reference Knuckles. Near the beginning of the film, Sonic's Owl Guardian Longclaw warns Sonic that he must keep his super speed hidden. When Baby Sonic fails to listen, he and Longclaw are attacked by a strange group. The group is actually a tribe of echidnas. Though Knuckles himself isn't part of the group, this scene suggests the threat Tails is trying to warn Sonic about might be Knuckles. So don't be surprised if Knuckles turns out to be the reasoning behind that entire mid-credits scene. But knowing Knuckles, he won't settle for just being the villain. The end of the movie will likely find the echidna teaming up with Sonic and Tails against an even bigger threat. So, who will Paramount get to voice Knuckles? The echidna has been voiced by different actors throughout his game appearances. The best known is probably Travis Willingham, who voiced the character in Sonic Boom. But like Tails, the Sonic films will need someone who can master a teenage voice to play the Red Rascal. So they'll probably pick a new voice actor. We could see someone like Jack Black bring some pizzazz to the character. While Tails and Knuckles would be huge additions to the cast, they aren't Film Sonic's only options for new friends and enemies. The movie likely wanted to ground Sonic in a realistic environment before bringing in a bunch of furry friends, hence pairing Sonic with a very human cop. Now that we've gotten the opportunity to see a live-action Sonic, what other CGI characters are most likely to win a role on the big screen? We have some guesses. One of our favorites is the famed Dark Sonic. His name is Shadow, and he's the outcome of a scientific experiment conducted by Gerald Robotnik, Dr. Robotnik's grandfather. He's one of the franchise's major anti-heroes because he's a bit of a loner, but he still begrudgingly helps out Sonic every once in a while. We could see him making a surprise appearance in the film, maybe by arriving last minute to help save Sonic and his friends. There's also Espio the Chameleon. In Sonic Heroes, he can do some pretty cool things like go invisible and throw ninja stars. But the real cinematic potential for his character lies in him being a founder of the Chaotix Detective Agency. If the agency were to make an appearance in the film, we could expect some cool detective work a la Detective Pikachu. Plus, it would probably introduce us to other members of the agency, like Vector the Crocodile and Charmy the Bee. And what about female characters? Sonic doesn't have many in its main lineup, but there are a couple that we think Paramount would like to include. The first is Amy Rose, who is introduced in the manga. She carries around her giant Pico Pico hammer and can hold her own in a battle. She's also hopelessly in love with Sonic, which would be an interesting idea to explore since teenage Sonic is probably new to romance. Plus, Amy is usually followed by her sidekick Big the Cat, and we'd love to see the huggable giant make a big screen debut. The second femme fatale of the series is Rouge the Bat, a super spy who actually reminds us of Catwoman. The flirty and fierce Bat can be a bit of a villain with her obsession for shiny jewels, but she's been known to help Sonic out every once in a while. We're sure she'll have an eye for those powerful Chaos Emeralds if she lands a role in the sequel. There's also a super unique character that could find his way into the cinematic series. And yes, he might just be more unique than all of these talking animals. It's Metal Sonic, and he totally counts as a character because he's technically a sentient being. Dr. Robotnik personally created Metal Sonic, and he did a good job because this sleek version of Sonic is actually a genuine threat against the Blue Blur and his friends. His sole purpose is to destroy Sonic, and he's actually come close a couple of times. So if the Sonic sequel is in need of a genuine threat, we think Metal Sonic would be an excellent pick, and it'll give the studio a chance to really show off their visual effects skills with a whole different type of character. After the incredible redesign they did on Sonic, we have no doubt they could capture Metal Sonic's high-tech edginess. Word on an official Sonic sequel is still out, but the movie has done exceptionally well through its opening week, so we suspect the project will be confirmed soon. One thing that is for sure is Sonic's potential to become a major blockbuster series, benefiting off of children who love the wacky characters and adults who want to see one of their favorite video games translated to the big screen. We're guessing that the Sonic cinematic world might just be here to stay. What Sonic characters are you most excited to see get the CGI treatment? And what kind of plot do you want the next Sonic movie to follow? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to ScreenRant for more.